Welcome to the GuthrieAmerica podcast. We sit down with the amazing people who do life in our community and who are from here because we believe every story should be told. I'm your host, Hetty Coleman. Today, I am sitting down with Beaul Haynes. Before we jump into this conversation with Beaul, would you please go ahead and subscribe to the podcast, to YouTube, all the business, and leave a review on the podcast side of things? It would mean the world to me. Beaul, how you doing today?
I am well.
It took a while, but I finally got you in here, Beaul.
Well, you had to pass the messages through my wife.
Got you in here. Well, you mentioned tell us about your wife and family.
Well, I've been married 32 years. I've got 3 boys and 1 girl, 2 in the military, which I'm really proud of them. I got a girl working here in town, and then I've got 12-year-olds. So I still got a little ways to go.
You got a little ways to go.
13-year-old.
13-year-old. But he's in 7th grade, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
That's
so
correct.
got a little ways to go before you're a complete empty nester.
That's right. I can't.
And you
walk
just never
around.
know what that's going to look like.
That's correct. That's correct. Hopefully it'll look good.
Never know.
Love my kids, but you know how that
yes,
goes.
right. Yes, that's right. You never know what it's going to look like. We're just here for them when when it's needed.
That's it.
What's it been like? You grew up in Guthrie, raising kids in Guthrie, like.
That's correct. I moved here probably about 2nd grade. I chose to live with my grandmother. My mom was they were in the military and they're kind of all over the place, and I chose to live with my grandmother, me and my sister, and I've been here in this community for a couple days. It's oh man, it's this is the community. I don't know about the other communities. I know this is the one. This helped raise me, helped grow me up. So
Yeah,
it's a good community.
Big difference between you growing up here versus raising your kids? Like, what are some things like, have you noticed a big change?
Well, it's just, as far as me growing up, times were just a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's, my kids all played some kind of sport but I think the experience is still the same. You still got that small town feel and it's got complications, you got fun, so it's all good, man. My kids have enjoyed growing up here, and I've enjoyed,
Raising them here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you started what grade here?
I'm going to say 2nd, 3rd.
2nd, 3rd. Were you at Cotterill?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so you hit Cotterill, then you hit Fogarty?
Yeah, that's my school right there, man.
Fogarty? What was it about?
But I had Linda Roper as a teacher. I had Cheryl Underwood, and then one of my favorite, my gym teacher. Gym was my thing, man.
Okay, that was
your thing.
If they had
just a gym class, I'd be the man. But and then
all the other things kind of threw you off, huh?
That's it. They had the late Miss Novi was a teacher, and she was real instrumental in doing just molding kids, man, making men and women.
Yeah, yeah. So Karen and I just did a podcast with. Was she graduated a year before you or after you?
After me.
A year after you. We could not think of Miss Novi's name. She's like, I could not think of the gym teacher who used to make us climb up the rope and hit the bell and come back down. I was like, oh my God, she's like a legend around here.
Big time.
And I could not think of her name, Miss Novi. Man, but yeah, she was the gym teacher to all gym teachers.
Oh yeah, she was. If there was a gym teacher that you had to compare to, she would be it.
Yeah.
I mean, she went so far as to make little ribbons for us. I love to run even back then, but boy, I love medals. And she'd make little ribbons. I still got mine. Believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. Yes,
I do believe that. I do believe that.
I mean, because she made such an impact on me.
Yeah.
Plus, I won first place. So
that's what it is. Now, were you one of the few who could get all the way up to the ceiling?
Now there was I had the class I was in. I had some guys that could do some stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell a difference in the gym with some of the guys I grew up with, because I mean we're doing it, bing, So,
they were flying up and down.
It was
Simmons, was he in your class?
Mike Simmons.
Was he younger than you?
Yeah, Mike graduated with me.
Okay.
And that dude was phenomenal.
Yeah, that's what, when you said you graduated, my uncle was in that class. He was a little bit of an athlete.
Yeah.
Paul Dreesen, you did. Y'all had Mitchell.
Yeah. Oh man, the Bryant, Marcus Bryant. God, they're just a array of them. You know, Kenny now, guys that
Oh yeah, I forgot about Kenny.
just that were there. I mean, just good guys. And athletic guys, good teams. You know, good times, man.
How far did y'all get in football?
That's another story. We'd make it to the playoffs, but it just was always an obstacle. You know, we had phenomenal guys.
Yeah.
Just it was always that one obstacle or that one, you know, because when you have Mitchell Pierce, you know, I mean, he's a train in itself. He rolling down the tracks, don't really need anybody else. But it was always some little obstacle. You know, we'd get close
together.
But you know, never to the show. You know.
Now I know you were a track star. Now, did you do football as well?
I did. I loved football. In fact, I thought I was going to be Mr. Football.
Oh, really?
And after my second knee surgery, that kind of left my mind.
When did you have the knee surgeries?
I had one my junior year, and I had one my senior year. Okay. And you know, it's your perspectives change when you know after that. You know, you're avoiding things or you're doing things a little bit smarter.
What position did you play?
I was strong safety, and I done a little slot back.
Got you.
That was good. You know, I got to run with some. There was a kid named Bobby Simmons, a big old guy, and Pierce. You know, it's hard to.
Yeah,
it's hard to
It's hard to get in there, get in on that train. But did you like playing defense or offense better?
I was defense. I liked hitting people.
Yeah,
I loved hitting people.
Yeah, when I played so I didn't play until my senior year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't play until my senior year, and I was like, I only want to play one thing is defense. They were trying to put me on offense. They were trying to. I'm like, man, I just want to play defense. I'm only out here to really hang out with my friends. And if I'm gonna do something, I'm hitting somebody. I don't want nobody hitting me, right?
I want to make the initial contact. I got you.
But some of those guys, I felt like they were hitting you. You know, some of those running backs were so big and strong, man. It was, and I was a little for the position I was playing. I played middle linebacker, but it was fun though. Football was fun. Now, how did you end up in track?
Well, kind of the same way I ended up in football. The Dreesens, Richard Dreesen and Paul Dreesen, they came to my house and said, you know, he needs to play, and that's how I started football. And then kind of the same situation. It was my grandma was like, oh, he's gonna get hurt, you know that type. Yeah. And I ended up Paul was in track, so I had to follow my boy.
Yeah.
You know, he's my boy, and I wouldn't say. That was the start, and that because the Dreesens have been just they were the it family for me.
Yeah,
growing up. I mean, they were instrumental in my growth, and oh man, it's incredible.
Yeah, I remember the days getting in the back of Mr. Dreesen's truck. I'm much younger, but I was getting in the back of the truck. We'd go over the RAs, was it
RAs, Noble Avenue Baptist.
Noble Avenue.
That's it.
And then really the reason everybody was there is because to play football in the back afterwards.
You got to hang out.
At night. It was dark. It was dark after playing football, and you can't even see the ball when you was throwing it up in the air.
It was a hope you don't get hurt type situation. Yes. It was fun though, boy. That's some good times.
Yeah, those are some pivotal times in my life as well, just being able to hang out with you guys and be around y'all. But I was much younger. But just to see you all, I was inspired by y'all. I ended up running track, even though I was not as good as some of you all were, but still wanted to run because y'all ran.
Man, a group is a group. You know, a family is a family. I don't care if you're 2 years younger, 3 years younger, a family is a family.
Yeah.
You know, when you start hanging out with each other.
Yeah, so it was really cool. Now, high school, you played football, ran track. Was there any other thing pivotal that you just remember about Guthrie High School when you was growing up that stood out to you?
Probably the big thing was the track. I mean, that was my and Coach Tarter. That was my guy.
Yeah.
He was everybody's guy.
Yeah.
You know, but. Just you know, I was kind of like you in the football. I just want to hang out with the guys, the fellas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just hang out.
Yeah. And so whatever I had to do that was play sports. I'm playing sports.
That's exactly
I need to run track. I'm running track. You know, one of the things that I remember, and I don't even know if this is a big story for you, but prom. I remember y'all all coming over to the house.
Oh yeah,
And y'all had prom dates and all that. Y'all was in tuxedos.
That was
I don't know if that was y'all's junior or senior year, but that was, I don't know why that stands out to me. And I think Anthony Mann went with Portia Bohannon. Is that?
I'm not sure who.
You don't remember that?
I went. I was kind of in between whoever, and I went. Me and Marcus and a couple others. We just kind of went. Kind of stag.
Oh, it was a group. Okay, got you.
It was a good time though.
Yeah, yeah. I don't remember why. Did y'all come to our house and take pictures?
I think we had come. We came by and we got our pictures and we done our thing and then we ended up out at Lemoyne Dreesen.
Okay, yeah.
They had a hot tub out there. So
okay,
cool.
that's
the
cool thing to go get in the hot tub out there. Yeah.
It was fun.
That was cool. So Fogarty was your spot. High school. Did you go to Favor in junior high?
I went to Favor. Favor was sixth grade, and junior high was junior high. But Favor was that was a good place too. It was my transitioning year because I wasn't real outgoing, real talkative. But it was I ran into some crazy people. It's where I ran into. The Peter Williams and the Jan Chappell, and they weren't crazy, but they were just, help bring things out in you. Those type of people.
So you got to experience them, and Favor was always interesting because it was the only grade.
Yeah. That it stayed like that way. I think it shifted up and down a couple times, but it kind of stayed like that, and good history there.
And then at some point it burned down. And
it had a fire that they rebuilt, but it had a fire that was some good dodgeball games in that auditorium in there. That was our gym, auditorium /
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh man, I guess that was a gym.
That was the only place to put.
The only place you go
because that back building, that wrestling building, wasn't there.
Okay, yeah.
It was the old remnants of a swimming pool.
So you never swam to that swimming pool?
I did. I went to. It was just a couple blocks from my house. I went there a couple times.
Okay.
I just I didn't go swimming a whole bunch. And then when I got to about 7th or 8th, I was always at Highland Park. But
got you. I just don't remember it, but evidently, what year do you think that it stopped being in existence?
Oh, it was. Oh my God! It's been a while. Probably. I was probably fourth or fifth grade, or it may have been earlier than that. But I go by, I see a remnants of the rim of the pool sticking up, and I'm like, good night, that's incredible, because it was close enough I could walk. I could walk to Highland Park too, but it was like really close. So
I just don't remember that pool at all. But I feel like I was. I mean, I should be able to have been old enough, but for some reason we just never went over there. We always went to Highland, but they both existed at the same time.
They did. It was dual. I mean, it was kind of dying off as Highland was growing and adding, but it was kind of cool,
Yeah. No, Favor definitely. And then we started practicing football and things of that nature over there. Now, events, 89ers, homecoming. Were you because you played football or sports? Were you always in the parade, or do you remember?
You know what? I think I participated once in the parade. I've never just been a get out there and sit on the float kind of guy. I built a float. I helped build a float one year, and I participated. I think it was my junior year, and that was it. I just wasn't my thing.
Yeah. You said I'm not good no more.
I can go home and eat some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. But it was good. I mean, Paul was probably. He was the guy who was into everything, I mean, he's all over the place. So
got you. Now Paul left pretty quick after. Did he ever come back after high school?
I think he married. He was at Wayland Baptist, and he married his wife, and I think they ended up in Texas for a while, and then he got this opportunity, and he's been in Costa Rica ever since then.
Yeah, because I don't remember. I mean, just coming back visiting or whatever the case may be. Did you all have a parade spot? So everybody that I talked to always, when we started talking about 89's parade, they headed to a specific spot that they would go and stand for the parade. Did you ever do that with your family?
Our spot is on Wentz and Division. That was our hangout spot for a little while. and that's where we'd always end up.
Yes, yeah.
Of course,
yeah.
I'm encouraging the kids to get that candy so I can have some of that candy. So
Get your bags of candy.
You got to
so
have
you
it
can
full
bring it home.
so Daddy can have his pick.
Because I don't want to be out there in the streets as an adult trying to get candy.
I can't be pushing kids around. It don't look good. Yeah, not a good look.
We don't want none of that. We don't want none of that. Now, you're also known for daycare. Like your family was in the daycare business.
Yeah, man, I was in it 35 years, and actually, I was in it 30 years, and my grandmother started with a couple kids, and it grew from building to building to building, and hundreds and hundreds of kids.
Oh my goodness!
Good gosh, I mean, kids in their 40s, and I think our last set graduated. Last set of kids that we had, because at one time we had a pre-K kindergarten that we would that was credited and everything, and we'd send kids out, and that last set graduated a couple years ago.
Really?
So yeah, it's and those kids have kids of grandkids.
Yeah.
That type of deal.
So y'all had a pre-K and a kindergarten? So y'all had like a little private school?
Basically, yeah.
Oh, wow. And so on top of that, y'all were doing the daycare?
Well, we had just the regular daycare, and then we had an infant center, and then we had a after school center. And with the infant center, they would go from infant to pre-K. And it just, my sister was the driving force behind that, just putting kids out that didn't know how to do much and end up with readers, and it was cool.
That is super cool. Do you know how many kids came through?
Oh my gosh.
Do y'all even know?
It wasn't, but it's well in the thousands.
Yeah.
I mean,
30 years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because how many kids would y'all normally have at one time?
Well,
collectively,
probably 80, something like that.
Wow.
We'd got to where we could house 120 something, but 80, in three different buildings, but they were real close.
Like how many of those kids, like they see you today, do they recognize you?
There's quite a few, and quite a few of them. I reckon I know them, but they don't know they went to daycare. I know they went through daycare, but they don't know.
He's like, I don't know who you are, sir.
Why are you talking? Yeah, exactly. But there's a lot of locals that still
went through there, and still around today,
exactly.
And now they have kids. You get to, and that's one of the cool things. Just thinking about church, like, we've been in existence at North Church Guthrie for 7 years. And so, like, my son and a few of those other kids, it's been cool to watch them get older and now about to graduate. And I'm like, you were just 7 the other day.
Blink of an eye. That's right.
Just that quick. And getting ready to graduate. And then at some point they're going to get married. And I got the chance to marry my first one that was young when they started out and stuff like that. And so that's really cool. And so to be able to see that many kids come through and grow up, man.
Oh, man.
That's crazy.
It's just, I mean, you can't not know somebody. I'd go to, when I was in college, I'd go to a track meet, and I'd see kids that went to the daycare at the track meet with their parents. And I'm like, I'm like, this would be years later. I'm like, hi, so-and-so. And the mom be like, well, why are you talking to my child? But I know your child, believe it or not. So, it's pretty cool.
Now, one of the things, too, like, you would come back and train a little bit at the high school when we were in track.
Yeah, I just kind of in between sessions or time and just get in some jumps or some sprint work or something like that. After I got out of high school, I got lazy as I went. I was running 100 and 200 in the long jump and whatever else they throw me in. I got in college. I ran 100 a couple times and dropped the 200, and then I just end up just long jumping. So
you just long. So just for the record, so people who are listening, like you graduate from high school and then you end up going to do track collegially.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I went to it was Oklahoma Christian College at the time. It's Oklahoma Christian University now, but that's where it's a NAIA school. At a great school. It was probably perfect for me because I wanted to go to Arkansas and play football. And of course, after you have a couple knee surgeries, that kind of diminishes. I mean, you're not as tough in your. At least I wasn't. There's guys that go through it, but I thought, okay, track will do it for me. This will do it. And by that time, I'd gone with my third. I had my third. coming
Third
out.
surgery?
Yeah, yeah. So
Going into college?
yeah, and so I was a risk. Period. I mean, if you just knew my history, I was a risk. And there's too many great athletes out there to take a risk on a risk.
A 3-knee surgery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you end up going to college after having 3 surgeries. Like, were you able to be competitive even in the long jump? And what did that look like for you?
There was very few meets I didn't win. I mean, my first 2 years, it was just we had a great coach. His name was Randy Heath. He was instrumental in helping grow me up, but they didn't have very many people to help you with the event I was in. They weren't real familiar with it.
Okay.
They had some jumpers. They and I had some good jumpers before me, but they weren't real familiar with the event. So a lot of times I'm training on my own. I'm reading books on how to do this and what I need to do and things like that.
There wasn't no YouTube.
Exactly. You date me, man. You
there wasn't no videos to go pull out.
Exactly.
You had to get a book.
I had to get a book and I just sponge off other people. What how do you do this and what about because coming out of in high school, the long jump is just something you go to. And then before you go to another race or event, and I focused on it. I was pretty good at it.
Yeah.
But in college, that's where I really, I went from jumping 23 feet to 26 feet. I mean, just that big a jump.
Yeah.
But again, it's just facilities. No more cinder tracks.
Yeah.
We actually had some. Well, let me take that back. We had cinder tracks, and when I got to college, they had a cinder track, but the runways were not cinder. I was used to,
you were a long jumper, so you got the But at Oklahoma Christian, they had cinder.
Oh yeah,
really?
Yeah, and they turned out. I'm telling you, they were one of the last ones. I think it's a budget thing, I guess. Baseball was real big there.
Yeah,
but they turned out some athletes. I mean, Jeff Bennett was in the '72 Olympics. He ended up fourth in the decathlon, and. So they turned out some athletes, some guys who could really offer that old cinder track.
Yeah.
And just as I was leaving,
fast is fast.
Well, I mean, it's if you work with what you got.
Yeah.
You know how that goes.
Yeah. What was the big difference? And I hear you say facilities, maybe. But what was the big difference between high school and college?
I think training. I got into. Coach Tarter had just started getting us into lifting because in high school, in football, unless you lifted at your house,
you weren't lifting.
The linemen were the only ones that lifted.
Really?
And you see how big Pierce is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just but you just kind of lifted at your house. I didn't even know what the facilities looked like until we still track.
Okay.
It was weird, man.
Yeah.
And that's when I started getting a love of kind of doing a little lifting and and training and getting stronger and stuff like that.
So that was Coach Harder that pushed that more so than football.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So
and so you go from high school, go to college. You begin to jump 3 feet longer.
Yeah,
about 3 feet longer. That's crazy.
It's
right.
Yeah.
Do you remember Do you remember that moment where it's like, oh my goodness?
Well, I was at Abilene Christian, and I jumped 24.5. Now, don't be impressed because there was wind behind me.
Yeah.
But that was the first time I broke 23 feet, and I broke it pretty good.
Yeah.
And then after that, I got some legitimate 25 jumps and some high 25s, and it was not in college that I jumped my best, but I still got the records after 30 years, the indoor and outdoor record there, which. I guess they just haven't found anybody or nobody's interested in long jump. The reason it hadn't been broken because it should be broken.
I'm still holding on to that because ain't nobody else doing the long jump no more. Right?
I guess not because they've had some sprinters that I knew if they would have put them on the track. I mean they'd have broke my little 25.
So does speed play a part? I guess so. Like Carl Lewis, like some of the fastest people.
I was pretty fast, but I was a power jumper. I mean. That's probably why my knees are so bad today because I would pound that board and I done a 2.5. It's called a hitch kick, so my feet are rotating in the air, and that's something I learned just watching Carl Lewis and people like that, and that was that was one of the reasons it was just me studying a little bit.
Yeah.
And I wish I was, now you look back, you wish you'd have done a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, not going on that date and went done a little extra this and that, you know, just to get even better.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But, you know, I got to the point where I was 3 days a week in the pool because it was either hamstring or quad that was pulled. I'm just now recovering from holes. It's been that many years in my quads from where I pulled them, and I kept jumping because I wanted to compete.
Yeah.
But I still wouldn't give it up, man. I go back with all the pain. It's just incredible.
Where did you get the drive to compete at that level? Because not some of us like to compete, but then there's people who like, I have to compete. Like, it's my thing.
When I first found out that I could, if I just done a little study and I even studying my opponent, you know, I got to, you get to know guys, and you can.
Well, you're studying guys in the long jump.
Really? I'm studying behaviors too. I'm like, you know, hey man, I don't know, you ain't looking too good today. You know, I mean, because it's still a psych game, just like anything else. You know, did you hurt yourself today? You know, that type of deal. And so it's still a game. But I'm studying the other guys too because I want to know how they jump. I want to know, can they jump and win? Can they jump? You know, that type of deal. It was weird. I mean, that was my thing.
Yeah.
You know, everybody else was smart enough just to go out train and do. I was trying to know the people. You know,
you trying to get all the whatever it took.
That was it. That was it.
But that drive to compete, was it family? Like, what was it?
Well, I seen my grandmother. She was, good gosh, she would. She was such a godly person, and her drive to, you know, she started barbecue stand out of nothing. She started this out of nothing. And I think that was my motivation. And then along with the kids I grew up with, you know, everybody want to be faster than the next guy. Everybody want to, you know, and that helped too. You know,
you're around athletes and like Mitchell Pierce and these
Anthony Coleman.
I mean, these guys were.
you know, me and Anthony we were kind of rivals. Anthony was. He always had them big old thighs. He was and Anthony was smart and he was an athlete. I think I had just a teeny bit more speed in him in the short distance.
Yes.
The reason I had the edge over him in the long jump, but he was one I was like, gotta beat Anthony today. You know, I never told him that, but I was thinking in my head, you know. So
yeah, because he did the long jump. Right?
Yeah, he long jump, he triple jump. Anthony was quite an athlete.
Yeah, he was.
Quite an athlete.
Yeah, he played football, and and Anthony's so serious. That's the thing. Oh my goodness! Like, was he that way when y'all?
He was, man. He was laser focused, man. It made me feel bad because I thought, man, I should be more like this. But, you know, I'm going to go home and play that little video game, and Anthony thinking about what he can do to get better.
Yeah,
you know?
But he was so serious, and still is. I mean, for the most part.
He's a good guy. I love Anthony.
No, and he has a heart for God.
Oh, like no doubt.
You know, and so, so can we go back to Coach Charter, just kind of like his influence on you? What are some things that stood out about him outside of he just crazy about track? Was there anything that?
Well, the man himself, he was a constant teacher. I seen him to motivate somebody. I seen him almost kill himself trying to run a quarter. He's like, if you guys can get in under this, I'll run. And I'm watching this guy. He's, you know, in high school everybody's old, but he's in his 30s, I guess, and I'm watching him book it around that track, these big old thighs, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and he done that just to motivate somebody, and you know the early morning pickups, the late night drop offs, you know, he came and got me before I went to state. The night before I got sick, I don't know what I ate or drank, but I got sick, and I thought, okay, I can't make it because me and Anthony had to go because that was an early morning, and I thought there's no way. And he's like, oh, you'll be, you know, and I'm throwing up, and it wasn't nerves, it was just I was sick. Yeah. And I get there and I get to compete, and that goes away, and I end up winning. You know, just one of them things. It wasn't. But he was a motivator, man. Yeah. The guy, if he didn't touch you then you couldn't be touched. I mean, as far as motivating.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
incredible. Him and his wife, Cheryl. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Those are people that God put in your path.
Yeah.
You know. So
I wonder how many people he took home. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't remember seeing any other coach. Coach Trotter would have a load full of kids that he's taking home,
man,
and buying shoes for, and I mean,
and that's not even the stuff that you know about. I mean, he was doing stuff behind the scenes, and just I bet his cars many miles.
Yeah,
going out on dirt roads to pick up people in the middle of nowhere, taking them home in the dead of night after track meets. And just it was quite a loss because he had so much more to teach.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing is he's taught enough people that they can pass some of that on.
No, he has definitely influenced so many people. It's really incredible, and it was cool to be a part of his going home celebration. And seeing how many people were there and how many people he touched, and hearing the stories is pretty incredible.
That was a sad but joyous occasion because he had a foundation. Christ was his foundation, and so that makes you feel good. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's a sad moment, it still makes you feel good.
You know where he's going. Now, I just kind of been able to watch from a distance, right? I never was around you and your grandma or whatever, but to have worked for the family for 30 years, I'm assuming that there was a special bond there. And you kind of already mentioned your grandma just to drive and all that stuff. Can you just talk about that and what that was like?
Some of the best stories I heard. My grandma was one of 21 kids. That's back in the day when them winters was cold, wasn't nothing else to do, wasn't no PlayStation. But 21. Yeah, I mean, and her dad was full blood Cherokee, and she just was a beautiful soul. I mean, nobody went away hungry. I'm not talking about our family. I'm talking about if she had a power to touch you or know that you needed something. You didn't go away dirty from her house. You get in a bath, or you get in you know what I'm saying? I mean, and because you see a lot of kids that are in stressful situations. And, she's just I don't know how to describe it. I mean, it's just, and I'm sure everybody has that that person that touched so many lives and continues to. Because you think about somebody and you just smile.
Yeah.
And I there's a couple of people that I get that feeling from. And she's definitely, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She loved me. She loved Christ. She was in that drag you to church stage, And but it helped give me a foundation, helped give me a base.
Yeah.
And she honored her church, and you get to see that, so you pick up stuff.
Yeah,
So
you probably learned a ton from her, right? Just watching her live, you was able to kind of walk away with some principles.
She wasn't one of those people who would brag on herself, but she if you asked, she'd tell you. And I asked a lot of questions because you live long enough, you've got a story to tell.
Yeah,
that's anybody, but she had a story to tell, and that was great. So.
It's always amazing too when she's an entrepreneur, right? And so people with a big heart like that can still figure out how to make money because they're always
it's weird.
giving.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
But like the old saying, you can't outgive God. So
it's true.
It is.
Especially having that many kids, like daycare child. You got all these kids who are in need, who need help, and
well, she fostered. She had 5 kids of her own. And she had a heart enough. She wanted more, but she couldn't. So she adopted my uncle, to bring a 6th child in the family. And she was constantly fostering or putting up kids or doing. It was neat.
Now the incredible thing is that after having being in a family of 21, having 20 siblings or whatever that you would even want to have. Because my family, like Anthony and them, there was 13 of them, and some of them was like, I don't want to have anything to do with it. He's like, I don't even want to put nobody through that, right?
Man, I looked at the Colemans, and I couldn't see how they could do it. I mean, it was organization and chaos at the same time, and I just didn't see how they done it. But they seemed to keep everything together. And, and of course, again, God was their base.
Oh yeah,
Christ was their base.
That's the only way.
I don't see how you could do it without him.
3-bedroom house. Everybody, not just your 13, but everybody in the neighborhood.
Oh yeah,
you over there hanging out,
welcoming people. Just
the door wasn't locked.
Exactly.
I never remember us even thinking about a key, right? Because the door was always unlocked.
Man, I mean, and Mama and Papa Coleman was always, and I went to when they had their church off. What's the street you live on?
Harrison.
Yeah.
Yes.
When they had so I am about streets. When they had their church there, we went to a many of services.
Yeah.
Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And things like that. Now that was great.
Yeah. No, that's good. Talking about family, tell us how you met your wife and what is that love story? Because that's a part of your story. 30-something years, man. Come on,
man. I still have to pinch myself, see why she's keeping up with me or putting up with me, I should say. No, I was getting ready to go to France to run over there. And
you see how he just dropped that? I'm just going over to France to do a little running,
but anyway, I was trying to gather a little extra money, so I was working at a student center, and I see this lady come by, and I'm kind of eyeballing her a little bit, and they go play pool, and she's her and her friend, and I asked her out. I said, you guys want to go get some ice cream with me? The rest is history, man. Rest is history.
It's a done deal.
She's like, okay, this guy gonna buy me ice cream. He may be worth it. But no,
30 years later.
Man, she is my rock. She's my rock. I wouldn't be here today if she.
He would not be on his recordings. What he's saying.
Gosh.
I had to add his wife to the text message to make this happen.
I am pathetic as far as picking up texts and stuff like that. But yeah, she's great. She blessed me with 4 kids, and I wanted more. And she at 39, she said, I'm done.
How many more did you want?
I wanted 5 or 6.
Okay. Okay.
But thank goodness.
Did y'all start late or
no? Well, we were married 4.5 years before we had before I had our first one.
Yeah.
He was born on our anniversary, and then what was it? 2 years later, and then 6 years later, and then another. I don't even keep up with numbers. I have to ask my wife.
But you didn't know how to work the system, brother. You should have been having a kid every 18 months if you want to have 6 or 7 kids.
I done it all backwards.
Yeah, you got 6 or 7 year breaks. They were done, man.
And them breaks too long.
Yeah. Like, what you want me to have babies in my 60s?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you got 4 beautiful kids.
I'm real proud of them.
Now, because of you being an athlete, were you hard on them?
Oh,
should we not bring?
Probably,
all right, I'm sorry.
Probably a little harder than I should be. My daughter, I started her at YMCA track, and once I seen she could run a little bit, my eyes got big. But we got to go all over the country. Yeah. She nationals this and nationals that. And then she gave up track and she said, "Dad, I just want to play basketball." Oh man, but even then, she was at Fort Smith, Arkansas, played there, and then she was at Central State, played there, and still got to travel all over the place. And I just loved it. Her grandparents went along with us, and we'd either stay in a hotel or in their RV, or just fun. And then my 2 boys, my oldest, God help him. I don't know why he's not in therapy now, because he was the one I was hard on. I love the kid to death. He had some athletic. He was athletic. Big kid. Mm-hmm. He looked like he was in 3rd grade when he was in kindergarten.
Oh, gotcha.
They caught up with him. He's about 6 foot, 275. But he was always a big kid, and we got him in football early, and I coached him with some great. Coached Reggie Callens and Merritt Roberts and just a bunch of great guys, but he was the one I was hard on. But he just hang out with the guys because he liked football. Yeah,
Now, did he was he part of one of the ones that won a ring?
He's got 2 rings.
Oh, he has 2 rings.
And they missed out on one because Kai Callens probably got hurt, freak accident, got hurt, and they possibly could have got a third, but that was
So
a
was
great
it their
time.
senior year they didn't win? Was it their senior year they didn't win it? Or?
Let me see, what is it? Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, I can't even think of the kid's name, but somebody else had to fill in running back wise. But yeah, that he had a good time. I mean, this Guthrie product, man. I mean, I'm not going to claim to be the smartest, the fastest, the best, but I claim Guthrie is my home.
Yeah.
I mean, some good people, some good teachers.
Yeah, some really good teachers, really good coaches, great athletes.
Oh, no doubt.
And you just can't stay on that at all times, but you have your moments and you appreciate those, and you just do what you can with them. So that is really cool. One of the questions I love to ask people, kind of to wrap things up, is what does it mean to you when you hear "Choose Guthrie"?
I think you're choosing to live in a community, not just a city or a town. You're choosing to live in a community where you're welcomed.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter black, white, blue, or green. You're welcomed. There's some good people here, some good families, and there's I mean, it's like Cheers. How you doing? Everybody knows your name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this community has been special to me and my family. I mean, my wife, I drug her here, and she's enjoyed
all
it.
in.
She's enjoyed it. That's it.
Yeah. She's all in. So, well, Beaul, man, I appreciate you taking time and sitting down with me and sharing a little bit of your story, and it's really good.
I appreciate you. You just I don't know. You've been inspirational to our family, and we appreciate you. I mean, what you do for Guthrie it's far beyond what I can think about doing. But
all God. That's
it, man. That's it.
That is it. It's all God, and it's us working together.
That's right.
And
that's
so
right.
I appreciate it, and I always say we're on a mission to have every story told. Will yours be next? See ya.